Today, don't just exist. Stand tall, move boldly, and make the day answer to you.
Forgetting the former things, looking straight ahead, holding on to hope, choosing life instead. The power that you hold is in what you believe. So believe for better things, you deserve to be free.
Welcome to Talk More Soon. I'm your host, Brianna, and today we are speaking about mastering the art of you. Before we get into it, let's take our first sip of the morning. I have here, you know what, my cup of Milo. Go grab yours and let's take our first sip. All right. Now that we have taken care of that, mastering the art of you. That's what we'll be talking about today. Now, how many of you can truthfully say that you know yourself? And then we're going to talk about how many of you can truthfully say that you like yourself. But let's start with knowing yourself. You see, I have learned in my years of life, you might say I look young, but I've been through some things in life that I've gained some wisdom from, thankfully. But I have learned in my years of life that a lot of us do not know ourselves. And that's because we don't spend the time to get to know ourselves. You see, just because you are born in this body and you grow up into it doesn't mean you have a clue who you truly are, right? And so we go through life and we mix and we mingle with people and we have these experiences, but yet we never really get down into the essence of who we are, what we like, what we don't like, what makes us happy, what truly brings us joy when we put down our passions and when we put down the opinions of others and what we think we should be doing in life, the chase for status, when we discard all those things. Can you confidently say that being by yourself, sitting by yourself, that you can say out of your mouth, I know this person? Not the body that you're in, but the essence of who you are. And what I've learned is that understanding that comes from spending time alone. Understanding that comes from going through trials and seeing how you handle them. Understanding that comes about when people betray you, when people don't support you or care about you as you would desire them to. Understanding that comes about even when you see how you love other people through the hard times, through the good times, and really taking the time to pay attention to how you are showing up in each situation, every day of life. The thoughts you think about even your own self. These are things that you have to sit with. How you might deal with anger, how you are when you are sad. These are things you have to get uncomfortable enough and sit with so that you can come to terms with the truth of who you are. And it's not that you should be afraid of what you'll find, but it's that whatever you find, you should be real enough to say, okay, that is me. But there's also another level of me, my highest level, who knows that I can be better than where I am now. See, I firmly and truly believe that we all have that higher self where we analyze our actions and we analyze our thoughts and we analyze our life and we realize that there is more for us and there is more to us. And so, even when you take the time to do that self assessment and you may not like what you see, there's generally that part of you, if you are serious about self actualization and self development, there's generally that part of you that will say, okay, I don't like how this looks, but I'm willing to do the work to make myself better. And then again, on the positive side, there are going to be many things that you find out about yourself that you absolutely adore. And so, knowing who you are is not just about beating yourself up when you don't match up to your expectations or how good you believe that you could be doing. Knowing who you are also comes with appreciating the amazing things about you, right? And as I mentioned at the beginning, that generally comes into play when you spend enough time with yourself and in introspection. So let's say something happened today at work, wherever, and you may have responded a certain way. It doesn't have to be a bad way, but however you responded that way. What is good to do is to think back on the way it played out and to kind of almost step out of yourself, not in a weird way, but step out of yourself mentally and think back on the situation and be like, okay, that's how I handled it. How do I feel about the way I handled that situation? Am I pleased? Am I not pleased? If I am pleased, why is that? If I am not pleased, why is that? And have these conversations with yourself. So, knowing yourself is all about observing your behavior, observing your actions, being cognizant of your thoughts. And then, after now observing them and being aware of those things, taking the responsibility to sit and sift through and see, do I like this? What do I like? What do I want to work on, or what do I want to celebrate about myself? And another good way to help implement that is by having solid people around you. So let's say something happened, whatever it may be. It's good to get advice, especially if you feel within yourself uncomfortable about the situation. Maybe you feel like, I don't like what I said, or I don't like what this person said to me, and how I reacted to it. I realize it made me sad or it made me angry, it triggered something. It's good to have solid people in your life who you can go and bounce the ideas off of and have them say, you know, you're never wrong, or, you could have done this better or that better. And in this, it's ideal for these people to not be yes men and yes women. So don't look for people who are going to tell you what you want to hear. Look for people who truly love you and will correct you even if you are wrong. Those are the people you want around you. And now, the thing is, I truly believe that we have an innate understanding of right from wrong to a degree. And so it's good now when you have that trusted person in your life who you can bounce the situation off of, and say you really felt like uncomfortable about the situation. You felt like, maybe I was out of bounds. And you really feel that within your spirit. And then you speak to another person, one or two, and they can agree and say, yeah, you weren't right about that. And they can explain to you why. That's like confirmation. And then from then on now, you can realize, okay, I realize that within myself I can get a bit cranky easily or easily irritated. Um, I don't like that about myself. Let me change that. Or you might say, I realize I get easily irritated when someone doesn't respect my time. So then on the flip side, now you know that that's a boundary that you have, which is a good thing. And you know that you don't want to engage too much with people who don't respect your time. So those are just examples of analyzing your own character. Not to say you should pick apart yourself now, no, but it's good to be self aware. You don't have to be super critical. You can do it out of love for yourself and knowing that if you see something that you don't like, give yourself the grace to know that you are human and the fact that you even care enough to do that self work means that you're on a good path forward. And I believe if more persons were doing things like this, of course, the world would be a better place. But a lot of people are so selfish that they don't take the time to actually sit with their behaviors and personalities to see if they're really good people and to see if they even are knowledgeable about the type of people they are. Because some of us, we're just living, reacting off of what people say to us, and then giving off energy, whether good or bad, but we don't understand us. And if we don't understand us, then we can't move ourselves from point A to point B in life. We're gonna float around. To understand yourself and to be mature enough to take the good with the bad will lead to you loving yourself, which is the goal. And when you have taken the time to understand yourself and to love yourself, it becomes a lot easier for you to understand other people because you realize that within your own self is some shameful things, or are some shameful things, I should say. But also within yourself are some admirable things. And it's the same for a lot of other people too. There are those who are wicked in their ways, yes. But for a lot of people, still, they have the good, they have the bad. And no, realizing that within your own self allows you to be a lot more graceful with other people. And it allows you to be open to understanding other people. And it's through that understanding that you get to know them rather than having up that block because you have taken the time to remove the block from within your own self to understand your own self. It's okay to say, I like the color red. I think it makes, and I'm speaking hypothetically, not for myself, but I'm just saying it's okay for you to say, I like the color red. I think it makes my eyes pop. Or I really like to play football. I'm athletic. I love sports, but I'm not into music or certain types of music. Um, it's okay to say I like small groups of friends. I don't like to be around a lot of people. It's okay to say I love to go out and eat, or I prefer to stay home because I'm more introverted. It's okay to say those things. It's okay to learn those things about yourself and not just be like, why do I always want to stay home? why don't I want to go out and have fun with my friends? Maybe you like to stay home more because you are introverted and you like your own company. Or maybe you are afraid of rejection, or you have social anxiety and you don't like to be around people. But taking the time to sit with your emotions and your reactions to certain things will help you to ascertain which one it is and help you to either develop that part of you more or to know that, hey, this is something I don't want to further in my life. I want to work on removing it or lessening this thing and being more outgoing, being more outspoken. So there's power in taking the time to know yourself. It will literally be the deal breaker between whether you can advance in life or you stay in the same place. Whether you are happy with yourself and accept yourself, or you feel like you're always fighting to be someone you're not. So today, make an effort to know yourself, to love yourself, to celebrate what's great and to work on what's not great, but always to give yourself grace and patience to work through what you need to work through. Okay? So that's all for today's episode. And until next time, talk more soon.